Okay, hello, this is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers, and this is the Liquidation and Closeout Workshop. So, again, my name is Nicole Whitlock, and I am with eCom Sellers. I am the co founder and co creator, creator and co founder of eCom Sellers. I am also the creator of Achieve Digital Marketing. I'm a single mom with two special needs teens. One of them is in the other room, so he or may not come and try to talk to me. And I got into this e-commerce thing because I was looking for a solution for my kiddos to cover their summer camp, to cover their deductible, their medical premiums, their out-of-pocket expenses, alternative therapies, traditional therapies, supplements. I'm trying to think of everything. Special diet, all of that. And e-commerce was the way to help cover those expenses. I'm also the vice president of a nonprofit that specializes in supporting individuals with special needs. I have been selling offline since 2008, selling online since 2014. Again, when I was selling offline, I was doing a lot of garage sales because I needed money. I needed a way to make money, and I would always reach out to people, whether it was friends, neighbors, people from church, to say, hey, I'm selling things to make some extra money. I'm having a garage sale. Do you have anything you want to donate? They would give me their stuff. I would have a garage sale, and I would use that to help me cover the expenses. I consider myself a serial entrepreneur. As I mentioned before, I've been selling online since 2014. I started selling on eBay first. Later, I transitioned to Amazon, and now I sell a little bit on a lot of platforms. My passion is helping people get started in this e-commerce game and also helping them on this journey. The biggest part of that is helping families that have special needs kids like myself, who I know their struggle. And so that for me, that is a passion project. I try to help them get into the e-commerce game, especially around Q4, so that they can have some money to cover their special diets, deductibles, summer camp for next year. And Q4 is one of the best times to be able to sell, to be able to cover those expenses. I also have a passion for helping people get organized, especially sellers, get consistent, and get focused in their business so that they can become profitable. So we're going to be talking about liquidations. And liquidated inventory is inventory that is considered most of the time excess inventory. It can also be returns, customer returns, and also obsolete inventory that is no longer in demand or people are not interested in it. And sometimes liquidated inventory can be inventory companies are willing to sell off to generate some capital, some funds. They need some money. In addition to that, inventory can be liquidated by a company that's running out of storage. Storage is such a funny thing to talk about sometimes because it's not just Amazon that charges crazy storage fees. Our own nonprofit had to liquidate some of our stuff so that we could be able to get to a smaller storage unit and just be able to cover those expenses. So it's insane. Um, in addition to that, when companies don't have the money to pay for storage, because storage can be expensive. I mentioned before products that are no longer in demand, maybe they've expired, and or maybe the company's in financial trouble. And again, it could be customer returns. These are all things that could be liquidated inventory. So what's the difference between liquidated inventory, overstock, and closeout? Well, liquidation specialists work directly with retailers, providing them with an online space where retailers can quickly dispose of unwanted customer returns. That is very common for Walmart and Target. There's a lot of customer returns there. You also have Home Depot and Lowe's. Don't overlook those. They actually do have customer returns there. Overstock inventory that they've ordered a lot of it. Maybe they ordered a bunch of it for the season. Maybe they ordered a bunch of it for some other reason, or they just, maybe they got a great deal from the manufacturer, so they ordered a bunch of something. And so overstock inventory is another one. And then closeout inventory is inventory that, like if a company is closing, they're closing or they're restructuring, and they've got all of this inventory they've got to get rid of. One of the stores that sells a lot of overstock inventory and or just sometimes it is a lot of it is closeout inventory as well, is Ollie's. That's a Ollies, and also Big Lots. Big Lots is currently in financial trouble, but Ollie's sells, they're known as a closeout store, and so is Big Lots. And so they sell a lot of things at big name retailers. So you can go into a Big Lots and see sometimes some of the same stuff that you saw at Walmart, and it's because they got it at a discount because there was an abundance of it, and or they were getting rid of it. So they might sell last year's whatever at a Ollie's or whatever. So liquidators can sell their retailers can sell their unwanted returns. They can sell their overstock inventory and their closeout inventory directly to liquidators, and that is something that happens often. Liquidators they can buy it directly from them. Sometimes they'll buy a whole truck. Sometimes you get multiple pallets. Sometimes they'll get a container. I know during COVID, at the beginning of COVID, there was a lot of inventory that was sitting on the docks in containers. And some of the stores were like, we're not going to be able to sell that inventory. So they would just abandon it. And so, of course, that inventory, those containers would go to liquidators, and they could go and sell that out in pieces to anybody that wanted to resell it. Sometimes you got some amazing stuff in those containers, and sometimes you got crap. But again, liquidators will negotiate the price and or buy it in bulk, and then they'll resell it to us if you want to buy it. So what's the benefits of buying liquidated inventory? Well, it's less than buying it wholesale. In most cases, absolutely. You can get it for clearly pennies on the dollar for real. Sometimes, I've been lucky as we talk about, seasonal stuff. We previously talked about that. I was lucky one year, I think it was 2018, where I bought Halloween costumes for the cheapest I've ever purchased them, including from liquidation. I got some Halloween costumes. Some of them were as low as 85 cents. Big Lots had a big display at the front of the store, and they were like, we just need to get rid of this display. We're not boxing it up to send it back if you want to buy it. And I was like, what? It's like, all of it? It's like, yeah, it was after Halloween. It was like maybe the second week in November. And they were like, yeah, we'll sell it to you for 90% off. It was crazy. So that's an example of getting it below liquidation prices. Because buying a whole thing, I don't know how many costumes were over there. I feel like it was close to 200 of them. And like being able to get them for close to like 85 cents and $1 and $1.15, it was ridiculous. But typically for liquidated inventory, you can buy definitely below wholesale. You can find with liquidated inventory, you can find a trusted and reliable source for inventory, which is good. Not all liquidators are trusted and reliable, so you'll have to do your own research and make a note of your experience with those retailers, those liquidators. If you don't have a good experience with them, just remember that. Find out what their customer service return policies are, or just how their customer service works. Because there's typically not a return policy on liquidations, just so you know. Like if they will have some things that they're like, oh, no, we don't take wholesales or final, or we don't take back, So you want to be prepared for that kind of stuff. And it's cheaper than getting and manufacturing the items yourself, absolutely, and less cumbersome than doing white label. I agree 100% with that. So getting it, if you've been wanting to do some white label stuff, being able to buy something in bulk that's in the liquidation space may actually be helpful to you. For me, I do bundles, and so product bundles, and so being able to get inventory in bulk and taking those bundles and flipping them, you can maximize your ROI for sure on that. And you can use an online auction site where you can bid for the liquidation or, pay for it directly. We're going to talk about local pickup if you can find some liquidators near you. So what are the pros and cons of doing liquidation? Well, the pros are, of course, the low cost of goods. You can find diverse products because you can get a variety of different products, especially if you buy a container. Sometimes the whole container is maybe like pillows, and that's it. The whole thing is pillows. And sometimes you can get a container that has mixed products in it. Everything from potatoes to not potatoes, Lord have mercy, pillows to spatulas to toys to, I don't know, hardware wrenches. So you can get a container or a pallet that has a variety of different things. You can also get some that are, returns. And so you can get a variety of things there. You have higher profit margins, that potential for higher profit margins if you can get it for a great deal, depending on what's in it. And there's an opportunity for niches. So if you want to focus 100% on just dealing with returns for baby stuff, then you can go after that and just resell baby stuff or pets or pet stuff, or stuff for the kitchen or stuff for the backyard, that kind of stuff. And there's the business startup potential. We're going to talk about that towards the end of this workshop, what the startup potential is. Now, the cons are you do have to invest some capital. You do have to have some money to be able to buy inventory, whether you buy a little bit of inventory or a lot. You can get inventory in some cases, depending on who the supplier is. You can buy a box for like $100, or you can buy a pallet for $200 or $400. Just depends on who it is, and also what's the content. So you do want to learn what the contents is. You can get inconsistent quality or potentially damaged goods. We talked about those returns, and we see inconsistent quality often with different things. So, it could be maybe they were selling shower rings and rods, and maybe two of them have scratches, or one of them was too short, or the spring doesn't open all the way, that kind of stuff. Maybe somebody can use it for something else. So you as a seller can take that as an opportunity. You want to indicate what the issue is, but you could list that and sell it. You can get an unpredictable product mix. Absolutely. I mentioned that before. You can get, if you buy a container, it can have a variety of different things. And typically they'll put the container onto a truck and just deliver it. Inspection and cleaning may be required. Yep. Depends on where it was, how long it was there, how it was packaged up, what state it was in, what kind of warehouse it was in. So it may need to be cleaned. So you want to be prepared for that. You could have storage challenges. In other words, you got to find somewhere to put this stuff depending on what you decide to buy. So if you're buying, let's say you're buying liquidated jewelry, jewelry takes up a whole lot less space than buying liquidated desks. Desks are going to require some space. If I got a box of jewelry and there were 5,000 pieces, it's a pretty decent box, but I don't have to clear out my entire garage to keep a box of jewelry with 5,000 pieces in it. Whereas if I was going to take a liquidation pallet of desks, that's going to take up a whole bunch of space. Legal considerations. Your legal considerations could be twofold or threefold. One, it could have something to do with whether or not this item can be sold on certain platforms, whether or not the warranty is still in place for the things that you're going to sell. So if you're selling some electronics, maybe you're selling blenders or you're selling crock pots, and you don't know what the manufacturer's warranty is on that, because in some cases, if it came through on liquidation, they may not warranty it the same way anymore. So again, you could run into some legal risks there, and you just want to be mindful of what you can and cannot sell on certain platforms. And there might be some brand restrictions, so you may run into some legal considerations. And as I said before, there might be some platform or restrictions. Amazon is a typical one where you have platform restrictions and limitations. So what are some of the things you need to consider if you're going to do liquidation? Well, the first one is space. You got to have somewhere to put this inventory. If you buy in large quantities, you can reduce the cost, that's for sure. But if you buy in large quantities, you also have to have a place to put it. So you need to know where you're going to put it. Okay. If you know the product well, then you have that to your advantage. So if you're a person who sells baby stuff all the time anyway, getting liquidated inventory for baby stuff, you already know how to price it right. You already potentially know what the demand is. You already potentially know, how to sell it, all of that stuff, which platform is probably going to get you the best traction. So you have a lot of inside knowledge. Whereas if you're selling something that you don't normally sell, like, I don't know, wrenches for tools, if it's not something you know a lot about, you might struggle a little bit with that inventory. You have to do some research. You got to go figure some stuff out. You could use the internet to sell locally. So if you buy liquidation pallets, that's very common. Pallets or boxes or trucks, that people sell it locally. And you also have some other sites that you can sell on, like Mercari, Poshmark, and whatnot, along with Craigslist. Craigslist is still around, people. So you can find local classifieds to put it on. Nextdoor is another one that you can put some stuff on. So if you You can sell your stuff on different platforms to reduce some of the shipping if you're willing to meet people. If you don't want to meet people, you don't want to talk to them, you don't want any of that, you can still sell on Facebook Marketplace. You can just don't do local pickup, just sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Shipping costs may break your business, so you need to figure out how to handle or maximize getting inbound inventory and outbound shipping costs. If I buy inventory, I'm mindful of the size that of the inventory that I'm about to potentially resell and what the shipping cost might be. So an example would be maybe an air fryer is going to be a little bit of a bigger box, or an Instapot is going to be a little bit of a bigger box. A desk is going to be a huge box. So that is going to be a lot of shipping out. If I can pick it up locally, local liquidators, which is the next one, local liquidation warehouses near you, then you could cut that cost down. Just pull up with a truck. Maybe you need to rent a Home Depot truck or a Lowe's truck or a U-Haul truck for the day. You go pick up your inventory, bring it back. But again, how am I going to ship this out? So I try to be mindful of what's in this pallet, what's in this box, what's in this container, so that I know, okay, the shipping on that's going to be higher. And how much are they willing to sell this thing to me in the first place? If they're willing to sell it for a decent price, that's great. If not, oh well. So check with your liquidators to see if they allow you to do local pickup. A lot of them will. I'm in the Dallas Fort Worth area, so that works out for me. There's a lot of different liquidators I can just roll up on. You want to contact them in advance, and then, and sometimes they'll have it open to the public where you can go and pick up stuff as well. Figuring out what to buy, that's something that you also have to be patient about. Sometimes it requires a little bit of experimentation. So you may have to experiment to be flexible and be prepared to learn or do a little bit of research. You could come across a bunch of wrenches that maybe normally sell for, like, I don't know, $50 a pop, and you end up getting it for 50 cents on the dollar. But again, because you don't know enough about it, you don't realize that that's a deal, that's a steal. So do a little bit of research, take your phone, make sure it's fully charged, so that way you can look it up. How much is this thing selling for? How much can I flip it for? How much are they willing to sell it to you for? All of that. So the types of items, sometimes it's brand new, unopened, in the original package, all of that stuff. That could potentially be closeout or excess or overstock inventory. We love those. Everything is still intact, especially if it has a warranty. You don't have to worry about a bunch of stuff. Like new, maybe it is fine. Maybe someone just returned it. Or maybe it was a display model, floor display. So, like I returned some shower rods. I bought this shower kit and I didn't realize that it already had the little rings for the shower rod in it. So I bought some of those standalone. I just returned them back to Walmart. Were they opened? Yeah, just to open. And then I'm like, oh, I already have this. And so I just closed it back and taped it and just sent it back to Walmart. Of course, they're going to put that out into the liquidation space. So, but it is still in like new condition. Nothing is wrong with it. Refurbished, that is inventory that has been received by somebody. Something was wrong with it. Somebody fixed it and they put it back out to the space for people to buy it. Now, does refurbished stuff make a lot of money or sell a lot of that? Absolutely. There is, God, I'm trying to remember the name of the refurbished website. I'm going to figure it out. I know that Sears has an appliance refurbished website, and I'm trying to think of the other one. But they sell a lot of refrigerators and stoves and microwaves and dishwashers and washer and dryers, and they sell them refurbished. There are sites or stores. That's a brick and mortar store, actually. I think it's American Freight. I think it's American Freight is what it's called. And so they sell washers and dryers, and that's all they do. They take them. So if someone bought a brand new washer and dryer, and let's say they bought it from Nebraska Furniture Mart, or they bought it from, I don't know, some furniture store, they bought a brand new refrigerator and had a scratch or a dent. They don't want it. Some people don't. And so they will return it to get a brand new one that is unscratched. Someone will buy that, maybe try to take the dent out of it, and then sell it at their store, or they can sell it online, either one. But refurbished is very common. In addition to that, they'll do that with laptops and phones, refurbished phones, refurbished laptops. So there's a lot of refurbished inventory out here. Again, you want to be able to check it out yourself as well. And you also want to see, for the person who did the work on refurbishing it before it was resold by the liquidator, you just want to find out if there's any type of warranty on some of that. What type of warranty are they willing to guarantee? If it was refurbished, does that warranty extends back to whoever worked on it so that they can be able to resell this product and still keep a warranty intact, which is always a great selling feature. People will potentially buy refurbished stuff. I actually, back in the day, bought 2 refurbished laptops. I will never do that again, but that's just me. Returns, we talked about returns. Walmart is ridiculous with the returns. Target is not as bad, but they do have returns. And several of the other big box stores will have returns. And so it's a great opportunity for you to be able to get that inventory. And sometimes it's brand new, still in the box. Sometimes they just opened it and it's still fine. Or sometimes something is truly wrong with it and you need to look into it and see if it's still good. There are people who will buy some of that stuff, even if something's wrong with it, they'll buy it for parts. So that happens on eBay all the time. People buy stuff for parts. Shelf pulls. This is inventory that is unopened and they want to take it down because they're not going to either use it anymore or it never sold or it's surplus inventory. So though that is inventory that could be out in the liquidation space. We talked about scratches and dents, minor cosmetic stuff, a scratch on the screen of a phone. They put that out in the liquidation space. It's like, what? I just changed the screen. You guys know how to do that. So, but again, it's a great opportunity for us when there's little cosmetic issues here and there. Salvage. So salvage inventory, I mentioned before, like if it's inventory that's been abandoned or something that's suitable for parts, that's great inventory. Both of them are great inventory. I've sold a lot of stuff I sold for parts. Heck, I sold my car for parts because I was like, the car does not run, needs a new PCM. You can buy it, and I listed the price, and I cannot believe that I sold that car in 45 minutes. Anyway, I'm just saying. And used items. Used, again, somebody wore a sweater, Christmas sweater, they didn't like it, they returned it. It's going to go into liquidation. It was just worn once. It's not bad. So how to buy a liquidated inventory? The first thing you want to do is you need to do research. What are our other sellers saying? Our unboxing, what's in the unboxing videos? Just go research some of the online liquidators out there. So you can do research on who bought inventory from what liquidators so that you can determine if that's a liquidator you want to do business with. Okay. And they will make videos to tell you, nope. And the manifest, because the manifest is what's normally inside the box of the pallet. The manifest tells you what are all the little pieces of inventory that are in this box. Sometimes the manifest is very detailed and sometimes the manifest is very vague. So if it is very vague and it just says, I don't know, not glasses. Well, glasses. You're like, glasses. Like, okay, is this sunglasses? Is this kitty glasses? Is this, what kind of glasses are these? Clown glasses? Like, what is this? So you don't know. You don't know because it's very vague. Whereas there could be a manifest that's very detailed that says these are Halloween costume clown glasses. Perfect, very detailed, gives you what you need to know. So go watch some YouTube videos on some of the liquidators to find out who you should potentially start with. Because, again, not all liquidators are the same. Next, you want to find a pallet or a case of the products that you're interested in. We're going to go look at some of the sites here in just a second. Research the contents or the manifest. That's what I talked about before. What is in this box? What's in this pallet? What's in this whatever? And do a little bit of research before you buy it. So in that way, but when you finally get it in your possession, you can flip that box pretty quickly. You're not holding on to it. Get a quote or estimate for shipping if it's not local pickup where I can just go get it. And then you can purchase it. When you get it, when you finally get it, when it gets shipped to you and it arrives, verify or validate the contents once it's received. Again, know in advance whether or not it's a detailed manifest or a vague one. I will tell you, sometimes you can get mixed manifests where it just looks like, okay, the first 20 things on the manifest are very, very detailed. And the last 10 is like they just got tired and threw a bunch of stuff into the box or threw a bunch of stuff. We're just going to throw this in with this palette. And so the rest of it is vague. So 20 things on there are very detailed and 10 things are not. So you get a palette of stuff that's got 30 things and 10 of them you're not really sure what you got. So again, validate your inventory. If you do the research before you buy the pallet, then you have a better chance or more knowledge about whether or not it will flip well. And that's if the manifest is detailed. Okay. And then list your inventory on whatever platform you plan on selling it on. Now, if you're wanting to sell inventory, there's a couple of different ways you can sell inventory. There's sites where you can sell your inventory. There are people that are getting out of the Amazon business and they are just selling their inventory to sites that will take it. Okay. Sometimes people just give me inventory. They're like, I'm getting out of the game. And so I just have a bunch of inventory. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then you have, like Amazon has a liquidation program. For those who don't know, it is a voluntary program and they'll allow you to just take your inventory and put it into the liquidation program if you just want to get rid of it. I don't recommend that, but that's, people can do that. You can also buy from the Amazon liquidation program as well. But in any case, you can sell your inventory in bulk on eBay, or you can sell it on Whatnot is another one. You can sell it on Mercari. So you can try to get rid of it. You could take it to flea markets. So here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we have Third Trade Mondays, and we have something Village. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. Traders Village. And with the Traders Village, again, you can get a spot, set up your stuff, sell it, and just get rid of it as quickly as possible. Just depends on where you're located at some of those flea markets or swap meets as to whether or not you're going to get a bunch of traffic. You could also sell your inventory in the mystery box style. Sometimes it's cool to buy a mystery box and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's cool to sell a mystery box and sometimes it's not. So again, all of those are ways you can sell inventory. And then opening a bin store. We talked previously about business opportunities, and that's another one that is a great one to consider. Okay. So where to find liquidators? One, you can Google local liquidators, okay, or local liquidation pallets, or, liquidation and local, and see what comes up. Sometimes you'll find a bunch of liquidators that are not far from you. If it's, within 50 miles or 100 miles of you, it might be worth the drive versus the shipping. Just going to say it. So that might be worth it. That'll cut you some costs, save you some costs. And you can just pick it up. There's also sites. So I've listed several sites. Some of them I've used myself. And if you don't know, I mentioned before, Amazon has a liquidation site where you can buy inventory and you can also sell inventory there. But in addition to that, eBay and Etsy, you can do searches for liquidation there. So we're going to go to a couple of these sites. So this is Bstock. And so Bstock is saying that they have Amazon liquidation. They've got 4 bids, so they're allowing you to bid on the inventory. Okay. They also get inventory from Amazon, Target, your mobile carriers, Costco appliances, Unilever, BJ's, GE, Walmart, Samsung. So again, this is crazy. All of the inventory. So you can view all of these to see what you can find on their site. So the first part was seeing the auctions where you can go and bid. And then you have all of these options. You can go see the auctions for Home Depot. So let's go see what auctions Home Depot. They have 20 of them. Hopefully, there we go. Please wait. Okay. So they're saying that there's a current bid for $2,500. They're saying that the items retail for $38,000. You can pay $2,500. There's 149 items. It's a truckload of kitchen and bath inventory. Okay. And the average cost per unit is $16.78. That's actually pretty good. The auction closes in 18 hours. Okay. So this is one of them. And if you're interested in bidding, you can bid. They're not giving you as much information as you would like. So again, you can create an account. So you can go in and apply. Sometimes when you create an account on some of these sites, you can get a little bit more detail. The one thing I would do is just see if there's any videos out on YouTube about B stock, to see if anybody recently has had any problems. Now I will tell you, all stores, all liquidators, all wholesale suppliers, all everybody has problems from time to time. Okay. And when someone has problems, whatever the business happens to be, whether it's just going to your local Starbucks to get some coffee, or whether it's fixing your car, or whether it's buying from a liquidator, you will hear more negative than you will positive at times, because when somebody has a bad experience, they tell 10 friends. When they have a good experience, they typically only tell one person. So keep that in mind and take that with a grain of salt. You can go check to see how B stock is doing with the Better Business Bureau. You can also check a couple of other sites, but check YouTube just to see what people have to say if they bought any liquidation, if they did any liquidation bidding with them. You do need to create an account so you can begin the process. And again, they've got inventory. This one is 184 units, and it says it's valued at $41,000. So it tells you where they are. This is Phoenix, Arizona, Atlanta, Georgia, Phoenix, Arizona, Pittsburgh. So if you're near these places, this might be worth it for you to go and see if you can pick up that inventory. If they only allow delivery and you have to pay the delivery charge no matter what, then okay. So you can scroll through and see, and this was just Home Depot. This is us looking at Home Depot. It says it's showing us 24. So because there's only 20, there's not a lot to see. As we go down, like we've seen everything that there is to see. You can see that they have 6 pallets and they have bigger items. Sometimes the bigger items are really fantastic because, again, the return rate on bigger items is not as bad unless the item just blatantly doesn't work. If the vacuum doesn't work at all, doesn't suck up anything, then yeah, you're going to have some problems. So that is just quickly B stock. Okay. And you can go to B stock yourself and go look at it and step through the process to create your account and begin the process of bidding. Next was bulk. And they have inventory from Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, and more. If you want to specialize, as I said before, let's say you want to specialize in toys and baby, maybe home and garden. They've got general merchandise, apparel, consumer electronics. So if we go to toys, we can see what they potentially have. And you can watch this for price drops. So this one, they believe that this pallet retails for $1,470, and they're selling it for $354. Okay. You can see the retail price here. Retail, well, this is what they estimate that it's worth, and then what they're willing to sell it to you for. Now, in my mind, I feel like this one is a better deal than this one, only because if I double this number, I'm too close to going over that number. So, meaning if I double the 2783, I'm over the 4825. So I feel like this is a better deal, but that's just me looking at it and doing instant math. I would have to multiply this number times 5 to get close to this number. So in my mind, this is a better deal. That's just me. So that's how I did that math very quickly. 5 times if they're, 5, this is like, like a 1-to-1 or pretty close to double the price. This one is almost 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. And then this one is 27. 4 times? Nope, 3 times. So when I say 3 times, I'm taking 812 times 3, and am I getting closer to this 2781? That's what I'm talking about 3 times. Okay. If I went 4 times, it would be 3,200, and that's not the case. So some of these look like pretty good deals. This one's almost 5 times. It's about 4.5 times. But you can look and see what's available to bid on. If you want to dig into it. Not all of them will show you the manifest. Sometimes you'll have to. So it says download the manifest. I believe I have to log in or create an account to be able to download the manifest. I don't think I can get to it. Well, let's just see. Can I get to this manifest? Okay, let's see. Actually, let me put it inside of eCom sellers. Let's do that. I don't know that I'll be able to get to it, but let's just see. Let's see. Yeah, I can't open the file. It's protected. All right. So they're not going to let me open it. Okay. So they're not going to let me open it. So you need to open up an account. You'll be able to access what's in the manifest so you have a better idea of what's in here. Sometimes you can see pictures of what they perceive is in it and what it might be worth. So this is how it will probably be shipped to you. This is after they've wrapped it. This is before they've wrapped it. And then it's up to you to break it down. Okay. So this says liquidation. Again, you can sort by brand retailers. You can see sporting goods, CVS, Lowe's, Overstock, Sony, Target, Staples, Dollar General. Ooh, Dollar General. Interested. Might be able to get some crazy, crazy stuff. I want to, I was looking for the inventory that was in the 99-cent store. That's what I was looking for. So this one current bid is $200. It's a pallet, and it's one pallet, and it says one item, but it's not really one item. It's shelf pulls. So if I go here, they're trying to give you an idea of what it might be. So this is your pallet. Right now the bid is $200. These are all things that came from CVS. I think I said CVS. I can't remember which one. Was it Walgreens or CVS? Dollar General. Okay. So probably a pretty good one. This has got 32 views. Doesn't say how many pieces are in here. So again, I could probably log in, maybe see additional fields. But it doesn't tell me exactly how many pieces are in here. But they're saying that the shipping is going to be at least 103, so you want to be mindful of that. But yeah, it doesn't tell you how many pieces are in here. Yeah. So in any case, it looks like stuff I think that would sell pretty good. I think these are all toys. This is soap. That looks like possibly some type of toy. Floaty toy. We're going into the floaty toy season. Water gun toy. So yeah, I think you could do okay with that palette. Okay. So create an account. This is direct liquidation. So Go Wholesale has launched. And there's appliances up at the top. But here's your Walmart returns, which is crazy. I still don't understand this. So they're saying the MSRP on some of these. This one is $28.66. The bid is currently $99. That's a hell of a good deal right there. So you can go through and take a look at what they have. If you wanted to do a website of your own where you wanted to sell lighting fixtures, this is a great one right there. So again, just ridiculous. This is a pallet. These are all pallets that you can buy and have shipped. This one's a pretty big one. And this is kitchen and housewares. It says this pallet is worth $12,093.15. So again, you can scroll through this, decide where you want to focus your energy, do a little bit of research. As I said before, there might be some things that you are really like a lot about. If you know a lot about baby, I would go for baby. If you know a lot about toys, I would go for toys. This is select liquidation. So this is what their site is. You're going to create an account. They're telling you again who they're getting stuff from. They're getting from Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, Best Buy, Walmart, Amazon, Wayfair, and it goes on. Sam's Club, Costco, Macy's, Select Liquidation, which is them, Costway. I don't even have a Costway here. I'm in Dallas Fort Worth, so I don't know where Costway is. Walgreens, Kohl's, CVS. They're selling by the truckloads. So if you're going to do a bin store, this might be the thing for you to be able to make your money back and then some. But they're selling you a truckload. So might be something worth looking into. I want to make sure my sound is on. I think it is. Okay. All right. The next is liquidation specialist. Okay. And so I don't know why English and Espanol. So they must be an international supplier because it has a Britain flag. Footwear, Amazon XL, big items, Amazon medium items, HPC, general merchandise. Again, you can go through and kind of scroll through and see what they have. What's the inventory that they have in stock? This definitely looks like a bin store kind of situation right here. That looks very, very, very familiar. Because typically, sometimes a bin store, you walk into a bin store and they literally have it something similar to this. Like the bins are right in the middle of the store with the tops cut off, and it's just crazy. But anyway, okay. So I mentioned before about the Amazon bulk liquidations. If you decide you want to sell some of your inventory or you want to buy some inventory, you can buy inventory from Amazon in bulk. Okay. All you have to do is contact them if you're ready to shop, buy in bulk. You can do that. I'm sure Walmart has the same thing. You can also do a Google search for eBay liquidation. You can also do a Google search for Etsy liquidation. They do have liquidations. And if I wanted to find local, well, I was going to say brokers. Hold on. So local liquidators and industry, commercial, heavy equipment, solar energy, grocery stores. Ooh. So they're selling the big stuff. All right, so not who I'm looking for. Local liquidation pallets. So here in the Dallas Fort Worth area, they have these are all. This is sponsored. Um, there's a bin store, which I already know that there's a couple of bin stores near me. Open box liquidation. So I could go to open box liquidation. Where are they? They are down here. Okay, I know where that is. 35 East. Big D discount. Again, another local liquidation. This one's actually a little closer to me. So if I wanted to see what Big D got going on, they got a lot of inventory. So I can go to their website. Maybe. We'll see. And if I go to their website, not getting as much information. Pallets. Oh, it's still spinning. Still spinning. Sorry. I don't know. Come on. It's thinking about it. Wow. What is happening? All right. If it doesn't resolve itself soon, their page is clearly not optimized or something's going on with my internet. See if any of these come up. Since I do know where they are, I can always go by there. I've never been to them. I'm curious about how long they've been in business. This is on Royal Lane. Here's some pictures that they have of inventory. So they have a bunch of Amazon returns, it looks like. This it definitely looks like a bin store situation. They've got so much surplus. It is ridiculous. Amazon returns and all kinds of returns. Yeah, they got a lot of stuff. So people are probably making out like gangbusters at this place. I could pull up, buy a bunch of liquidated inventory, and call it a day. So I hope this was helpful, just kind of seeing the sites and how they sort of work, and the fact that you have to create an account, but you can do some research. Start with YouTube. I mean, you can go to the sites, create your account, but then kind of go see what people are saying on YouTube a little bit. Take some of it with a grain of salt, and also check them out with the Better Business Bureau. Okay. You can also contact them and just see what they have to say. They may have some helpful information to give you regarding, getting started and doing business with them and getting inventory for them. So some things to keep in mind: you do need to research suppliers. We talked about that before. Try to find one that's long term. If you have a niche that you already specialize in, I'd stay in that realm because you're probably going to do much better. Second, you know, uh, build a rapport, get to know them, get to understand them, find out if you have local ones. There you go. And try to connect with some local liquidators. You probably should get an EIN so you can do business with them. Most of them will require you to have an EIN. They're not going to allow you to just use your social security number because it's a business to business transaction in most cases, especially if you're rolling up to get inventory. If you're just going to a local bin store and buying from the bin store, then they don't care because you're just going to a bin store and buying like you would go to Walmart. You're just buying some stuff. But if you're trying to buy in bulk to get the best price, they need your business EIN. You'll need or should get your reseller certificate so that you don't run into any problems. For some cities or counties or states, it's called different things. So sometimes it's a vendor's license, sometimes it's a reseller certificate, sometimes it's a, whatever it's a different thing. It's a tax related thing. So find out what your state comptroller requires for you to be able to resell inventory and get that thing. Again, it may be called different things. Um, You'll either buy or bid or make an offer on the pallets. Okay. So we saw on the site that on a lot of them, there was the buy and the bid. A couple of them, you had the opportunity to look at the manifest, but you can't until you create an account. You have to log into that account. If you use an online liquidators, you will pay for shipping and or transportation. Again, if you're getting a big truck, you're paying for that. So you do need to be mindful of your shipping expenses. And that's what I was saying before. If you get a pallet where they're selling you a bunch of stuff that's big stuff, then you're going to have to pass that fee on to your customers when they buy it from you. You're going to be shipping big things. Okay. Also look at, what the value is of the pallet so you can have an idea how much you might be able to get out of it. Okay. Um, your profit or ROI is always going to vary. We did look at pricing. We looked at I don't know what's going on now. We looked at the MSRP for a lot of the pallets that we were looking at, and the boxes and the trucks. And depending on the site or your source, if the manifest is available, definitely go through the manifest. Know that sometimes the manifest is a mixed bag. It could be very detailed or it could be very vague. It could be very annoying. So be prepared for both. So as you go through this process, you're definitely going to need money to be able to buy that inventory. And here's a few ways you can find the money to be able to acquire the inventory to do liquidations. One, you can save and reinvest. Some people are going to get their tax returns and maybe they want to buy inventory using it. It's just a thought. Next, you have the Small Business Administration. If you're starting a business, especially if you decide you're going to start a bin store, then that may be a good way to go. You have banks and credit unions. Maybe if you're with a credit union, you could possibly get a loan. You can also probably get an advance on your credit cards. That's another way. PayPal always tries to give away business loans. They're typically capped out at $5,000. You could also, depending on what type of activity is happening with your account and how good you're having sales, You can also get a Stripe. You can get a loan through Stripe, and that will also vary. As I said before, you have your credit cards and business credit cards that you could possibly get a business loan from them, or get a higher limit on your credit cards to be able to use that for funding. You can do micro loans, crowdfunding. There's crowdfunding sites, micro loan sites, small business grants. I love grants because that's free money. You don't have to pay it back. Okay, you can raise money with friends and family. That's all the ways. And there may be other ways. It's a mixed bag. You can go in on a partnership. Just make sure that if you do a partnership, everything is detailed out. That is so important if you're doing a partnership, because things become very muddy if you don't do that. So how do you get started? One, you got to secure some capital. Two, you got to identify your sources for your inventory for sure. Go do that research that we talked about. Know what you're looking for. Okay. So acquire and inspect your inventory, whatever you decide you want to do. And then decide your sales channels, whether you're going to sell on Amazon, you're going to sell on some other platform. And then list your inventory. What's your sales? You may sell your inventory on multiple sales channels. Go ahead and list your inventory and then monitor your results for sure. Okay. Now, if you want to get into the bin game, this is the bin store game where you're buying a giant truckload. Maybe you're spending anywhere from $5 to $10 or $15,000 to get a truckload, and you're turning around and you're selling it. Here's some things that you need to keep in mind if you're going to do a bin store. Okay. One, you got to secure that capital. We talked about different ways to get capital. You got to choose the right bin store for you. The size of the bin store, the location, where is it going to be? So when we talk about size, like most of the time they're like in a mall, outlet mall, where a store has been abandoned, and so it's just open space. So it may be perfect for doing this. You don't want it to be too big, and you don't want it to be too small. So you want to find the right size, and you want to find the right location. Remember, you got to do signage too. Then you're going to go ahead and set up your store and determine your operations plan. Setting up your store, like how often are we going to have the deal? What's my pricing structure going to be? What are my hours of operation going to be? How am I laying out this store? What type of bins? What type of inventory am I buying? Am I buying it by the truckload? And if so, can I just slide it into the store, open it up, and use that as my source, or do I have to buy tables for the stuff to be laid out on so people can go through it? Sort and organize your inventory. That is one of the things. Oh, sorry. Start sourcing your inventory is step 4. Definitely start sourcing. So, get your inventory from whoever your supplier is, and then you need to sort and organize it. A lot of people who have bin stores, they will receive their pallets on like a Monday or a Sunday, and then they will not open their doors until like Thursday. So they'll spend Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday going through the pallet, maybe listing some really good items for themselves, pulling those things out, and then leaving the rest, or just give everything to the customers and let them buy it from you. But, sorting and organizing, then you fill up the bins. And again, you want fresh inventory every week. So you got to do this cash flow thing in order for you to have fresh inventory every week. You want to track and manage your inventory. So you need to have some type of inventory management software to be able to track what's coming in and what's going out, your sales and stuff like that. Because again, you got to pay taxes on that stuff. So run your store and your operations, everything that you need to do to get going. But these are all things you need to consider. So what are the types of expenses you're going to be running into? One is the real estate. You got to lease some space from somewhere. You got to figure out where and how much space you need. You're going to need some business insurance of some type. You got to cover utilities for any space that you lease. You also have to pay for internet access because, you're probably going to have a POS system. So you got to get all that set up. You have to pay for inventory, and you have your store operating expenses. If you're doing a bin store, maybe you're putting stuff on tables. They have those bin tables. You sort through it. Sometimes people just leave it in the big boxes that they come in, those big giant dumpster boxes. Okay. You need whatever permits are required by your city, your county. You need to figure that out. and you're going to have to pay for employees. Okay, are you going to be doing it? It's going to be you and your husband, you and your kids. Who's running the bin store? How big is the bin store going to be? And who's working? Okay. And then some additional tips for running a bin store. Stay ahead of your inventory. Again, you need to be able to have enough momentum to do this, probably for about four weeks, if not 6 weeks, before you start pulling money out. And the reason I say that is because you got to have some type of cash flow. Cash flow is going to be your biggest problem because you got to buy the money that you get. If you have to have enough money to be able to cover buying a truck or multiple pallets for about 6 weeks. So if that's $5,000 a week for about 6 weeks, that's $30,000. Then whatever you've got to pay for employees and rent, like you need to have 6 weeks up front. So then that way, when you make money on that first store opening, that first week, hopefully you've made enough money to cover the next truck, okay, and cover salaries. Then the second week, you order another truck. That one will come after. So you can keep ordering, keep ordering, keep ordering. Hopefully, whoever you're getting inventory from, they haven't scrubbed the inventory themselves and only gave you the scraps, because there's nothing like having a bin store and you just have the scraps and people are like, I went to the bin store and there wasn't anything good. So the goal is to always have something good. Volume over value. Selling a bunch of stuff, flipping that inventory so you have fresh inventory to come in. It's always important. Selling stuff in bulk. That's the reason why some of these bin stores, where they have a pricing structure of like Thursday everything is $20 or $10. Friday everything is $5. Saturday everything is $3. Sunday everything is $1. Like they have this whole breakdown. So again, going through there and being able to sell a bunch of stuff, you have to have that cash flow to be able to get that next truck going. So again, I would say at least 6 weeks worth of expenses. Most people will say 6 months, and I agree 1,000%. But sometimes the profit margins on bin stores can be so decent that you could hopefully start pulling some money out after the first 6 weeks. Figure out your pricing strategy. I mentioned before, like $10 on Thursday, $5 on Friday, $3 on Saturday. Like you figure out what your pricing strategy is going to be for the stuff that's coming in. And you want to build a loyal customer base, local customer base. So people have to know when they're coming, they're going to get good stuff. You want people to be excited about, if you're going to be closed, Monday through Wednesday, that when you open your doors on Thursday, they know they're going to have some good stuff to look at. Okay. There are people lined up to see what's available at a bin store. So the next steps for you, the first thing is definitely listen to the replay. Please ignore the hiccups. I don't know what that's about. Follow the steps outlined so you can get started. Decide what you're going to do. Whether you're going to buy a pallet and sample it for a little bit and then try to scale up and do something more. Make sure you have accounts on all the platforms that you think you want to sell on. Figure out if there's other platforms you want to sell inventory on. Okay. You can access the recording for this inside of eCom Sellers, our membership site, and you can scroll to the bottom, click on membership login. The other thing is you can schedule a one-on-one coaching session with me. Hopefully I will not have the hiccups. You can go to ecomsellers.com, click on services, and click on coaching. If you have any questions, you can definitely contact me at info@ecomsellers.com, and I would be happy to answer any of your questions. I hope this information was helpful. I hope you use it to go get started in the liquidation space and go do research on the liquidation companies that I've mentioned. And with that, we are going to say goodbye for now.